Oh yeah.
And then when it comes to books, I've kind of changed our approach slightly. And I know that books is kind of like a personal, like, I don't know. Like, okay, I might be weird, but my goal is to not have for myself like any physical books and
Okay.
just have like ebooks and get stuff from the library. It might seem strange, but I don't have some.
I don't do that, but I understand it.
Okay.
Yes.
I don't have sentimental attachment to any like physical books, and that's just how I am. And so for my kids, there are ones that we've gotten as gifts through the years, and we have continued to donate. Like I said, I'm doing a donation tomorrow. We are
Right.
blessed to be in an area that has a very extensive library system. And
Nice.
so we usually, I'll go with my youngest once a week, every like 7 to 10 days. And
Yeah.
that is 95% of what we read is like the 20 some books that we get from the library. And
Okay.
as they get older, we may end up kind of decluttering more of the ones that they currently have. But I think we're going to be more of like a mostly library books and then just some super favorites that, get a lot of love. But yeah, we are not inundated with books over here because no one seems to have a big attachment to keeping them. We're okay getting them at the
That's
library.
awesome.
So,
No, that is great. We've started doing more library stuff just with their
yeah.
age, doing story time, all that. So we've started more library books, which I think is great because I didn't really go and just through the pandemic, I never really went to the library.
Right.
Couldn't for a little bit. And then I said, oh, okay, they didn't really do story time. They started doing them back up and everything a couple months ago,
Hmm.
I think. So it's been nice to get them out and get them kind of experiencing that. But yeah, we have tons of books.
Hmm.
I don't have a ton of books, I would say. My parents, my mom, she's the sentimental one, so I laugh. So she always gives me sentimental things, and um, she's kept multiple books from when I was a kid, Dr. Seuss's, like all that stuff. So we probably have a good, I don't know, like 40 books that
Yeah.
she kept from when I was a kid, Emily, like a ton. Even my own books. I don't know if you can see it back there.
Uh-huh.
This is the only amount of books that my husband and I have kept through the years.
Wow. Well, that's not much.
We've gotten rid of a ton, yes. So I mean, it's
Yeah.
like a small IKEA unit, so it's pretty good because we said the same in a way. It's like I like, I'm a big like I love coffee table books, so I have
Hmm.
some. There's some like around, even on the other side over there, but
Yeah.
for the most part, like we don't have a ton of books anymore. We used to, but even for the kids, I probably have about that much
Hmm.
total. So, I don't know. I like the library thing. I like physical books. I know
Yeah.
it's hard for me to do ebooks sometimes. For me, I can read them, but like even with the kids, I don't know, it's hard. So,
Yeah,
I said I
no,
think when they get a little bit older too,
I totally
that they might
understand.
like it.
I think it's because of the type of books I read. I mostly read like nonfiction and then I highlight things because
Okay.
of writing, like doing my blogging. And you
Yes.
can, with your Kindle, like you can get, because this is what I do in case it helps anyone, but through my library, they have like the Libby Overdrive app, which is how you can read like
Right.
ebooks. Then you
Mm-hmm.
can read it on your Kindle or using the Kindle app. Then
Mm-hmm.
you can highlight things like make notes or highlights and you can export them. So like
That's
I have like all the quotes from all of the nonfiction like minimalism habits books that I read and then I can use those quotes when I do my blog posts and stuff. So
that's
that's
a great tip though. That's awesome.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's been working really well for me, or even for fiction, if it's something, or memoir, or something where you like to remember
Mm-hmm.
certain quotes or like make notes on something. And that's why people sometimes like to keep the physical book so they can kind of go back and look at their notes and whatever. And I totally understand like the difference with having that physical book. I really do. But if it's something where you're like, oh, there would be a practical reason to maybe be able to search, kind of do like a search on the computer and be like, okay, how many of these quotes have this word in it or whatever, then it just is a
Right.
way for you to kind of find it a little bit easier. So I'm a big fan of the Kindle notes and highlights. It's one of my favorite
See,
things.
that's a great tip. Yeah. See, and I laugh if I always have a goal of making notes in books. I never do, and I never
Yeah.
look back at them. So that's a
Yeah.
great way to do it.
Yeah, and then, but I will say for kids, I know that a lot of the libraries, they will have also like the ebooks and everything too. I have not transitioned my kids at all, and I don't think I probably will. I think we'll probably do like the physical books with the kids, mostly because like there's two of them, so they kind of sit on either side of me, and then when you have that book, you
Right.
can kind of open it a little bit better. Um, but yeah, I mean, they love going to the library, and usually we have kind of a list, and it's like a scavenger hunt, like trying to find
Yeah,
all the ones about pirates or books, I mean, trucks or whatever the heck they're into at the current time. But it is a blessing to have, this public library system, and especially if you're in an area that it's extensive, why not? And even if I do have ones that have been purchased,
hmm
that are gifts, I'm fine with that if it's something that they're using quite a bit. And if not, I
right.
treat it just like toys. And I'm like, okay, well, we
Yeah,
haven't looked at this a while. Let me put it aside, see if they ask for it, see if they notice, and then talk to them about donating it. And it's gone really well for us.
great.
So, yeah, so books haven't been a problem, and clothing is pretty easy because they like grow out of it, so they're not going to be like, but no, I
Yeah,
want that super small t-shirt. I'm like, no, they're not.
you don't need
I know,
that.
right? They're not going to do that. No, I want that, those
Oh yeah,
shorts with the stain on them. So, oh, fees at the
yeah.
library, slippery soap. That's interesting. Our library, I'm going minimal pharma. Our library has done away with fees altogether.
That's
So,
incredible.
yeah, and we're in Fairfax County, which is one of the
Okay,
largest counties kind of outside of DC here in Virginia. But
great. hmm
yeah, but I will say one of the things about going like once every 1 to 2 weeks. And oh, here's the other thing. Yes, I was going to say I keep them all in the same in one shelf. There is a designated
I do too.
library
Yeah.
bookshelf, and all the
Okay.
library books have to stay there for the kids. And for
hmm
me, I have to keep mine like in my nightstand, because I told them, and I have to separate out the one for my oldest son's elementary school library
Ah,
versus the
yeah.
county
They
library,
get the
so they
wrong
don't,
place.
yeah, they don't go to the wrong library. But those are very easy to lose. I mean, of course they are, especially like
Oh yeah.
for when you have, I'm sure, Michelle, your kiddos have some like the board books and stuff, like those are like
Oh,
small.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes.
so
I
designate a bin or a shelf just for library books. Know how many you have, and then like, try to do an occasional count. So,
I think so. Yeah. Oh yeah. We have either on the shelf or actually, I guess the bag the library gave me just
yeah.
to put them in the laundry room when I know like okay we're kind of getting tired of this so I don't like leave them on my shelf somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, Kindle is great in the meantime, and I hope that
Yeah,
you
I
can
gotta
get
go
your,
get the Kindle one if it works.
yeah. Yeah, hoping you get your car fixed there. Okay, so we went over toys, we went over clothes, we went over books, we talked about gifts. Um, anything else? Anything else we didn't really focus on? We talked about,
Mm,
well, I mean, some of the like random clutter, which I loved when you were talking about like the doctor's visits and that. Oh, I know one. Either doctor's visits, which for me it's like I try to decline if I can,
yes.
which is sometimes tricky, or otherwise just say to my kids like, yeah, this isn't, you don't always get the kind of best made stuff. Like this might kind of might fall apart and we might have to throw it away. And so they kind of know in a nice way. I'm pretty much like, yeah, you get a bunch of crap from
No,
the
you can't have
doctor's
that.
office. I know. I'm like, why can't we just go to the dentist and just get a toothbrush? Like, how about those days? We don't have to get a toy every
Yes,
time we go somewhere.
I know.
What about artwork? I would like to finish up because I want to keep it to an hour. And your kids are like amazing that they
My
haven't been.
husband stopped working and he took him out.
Oh,
Yes.
I'm like, what the
Only
heck?
whatever, like 10 minutes ago or so when
My
they got
kids
quiet.
would
Yeah.
never leave me alone that long. It's amazing.
My daughter said she's funny. She likes, like I said, it's TV time now anyway.
Yeah,
So she was hanging out.
good.
My son, because he's starting to learn how to walk, he's walking on his own great, and he's a little bit late. He's around 18 months old
Yeah.
now, so he's walking, but all he wants to do is walk. So he's walking around. He'll walk with the walker. He'll walk by himself. Like he'll go walk around and touch stuff. He's just funny. So you just kind
Wow.
of see him walking around and
That
doing his
that's
thing.
awesome. That is so great.
But like I said, now they're quiet because my
I
husband
know.
took them.
Well, that's good. Nice husband. Okay, I have a process for artwork, but I'm in a different stage now because I'm having them bring it home from preschool and elementary
Oh
school.
yeah.
But I want to hear how you deal with it first, and then I will
No, sounds good. I want to hear what you have to say about it too, Emily, because we don't have a ton of it right
go.
now because most of it is me just as a stay-at-home mom with them right now. I don't like I said, my daughter's 2.5. We're not doing preschool just yet, so I don't
Yes.
have anything crazy yet, but it's like I don't know. I do some preschool at home stuff with them, so I do some art with them, and I'm trying to think. I will toss it. That's terrible. If I not terrible, you know
It's
what I
not
mean.
terrible.
Like we did, I don't know, as an example, we did like a unit on apples, like for my daughter. So we took apples, we stamped the apples,
Okay.
whatever, and we probably had like 10 sheets of them. So I kept one, I put the date on it, and we might go back and look at it every once in a while in addition to, whatever else we've done. But same kind of thing. So now I would say what else have we done? We've done like t-shirts, like
Yeah.
painting on t-shirts and stuff. So like again, a kind of a consumable thing that then they can wear. Like because when my daughter's like,
Hmm.
I love this shirt, she'll wear it. So that's another artwork type thing. Otherwise, I take pictures of the stuff
Yeah.
and I will get rid of it, or I have one folder right now and that's
Yes.
it. So
That's
yeah.
good. That's really good. Okay, might be kind of funny, but we have what I call the art purgatory. And the art purgatory is so I don't use a hamper anymore because I do laundry every day.
Makes
So
sense.
I just have this like 31 bag, like just like a cloth bag that I like bring
Okay.
the laundry down and up with. And so I'm like, okay, well, maybe we don't need the hamper anymore. But then what I started doing was the kids don't like look in there, it's in our closet. So if they have any kind of artwork or stuff, like I kind of look, if it was just like the quiet time random coloring paper that my
Right.
my kindergartner does, then that I will get rid of. But if it's anything that I think they might ask about in the next like week to 2 weeks, but I don't want it out, I will put it in the art purgatory, which is
I love that. That's so
hiding
funny.
it in this hamper that we don't use anymore in my closet. And then usually once every couple months, I will go through, and if I really think something is like special, I will scan it, and then
Okay.
I use Evernote, and I like will just keep
Yeah.
it there. But they do have a cork board. Each of them has a cork board on their wall, and
Okay.
that is their physical space for anything that they want to hang.
Yeah.
And they get to decide as much as they want that's going to go on there. And if they want to change it out, then we'll get the staple remover and we'll kind of, take the staples out. So that is
Yeah.
their physical like display space
Hmm.
for whatever is really special to them. And then
Makes sense.
besides that, it either gets thrown away on occasion or goes in art purgatory for a temporary time, because then they'll be like, where is that thing when I wrote I love you mommy on that piece of paper? And I'm like,
Let me
let
look
me
around
look
for
around for
it.
that. Yeah. So I've gotten burned like a couple times where it was already in the recycle bin and I was like, oh dear. So that's what we're doing right now. And let's see here. We don't do a lot of like craft type of things, but I kind of use the same thing. Like it'll go in the art purgatory, but we do have a shoebox of treasures, and
Okay.
treasures are anything that random stuff that they get from school, or like Valentine's, or like, stuff that's not consumable, but these little like trinkety type of things.
Yes.
and they have to fit in the shoebox. So if anything is not going to fit in that shoebox, then they have to decide what they get rid of. The shoebox is about halfway full right now, so they're okay. But all that's like their treasure box, we call it. And
Okay.
so sometimes they get the treasure box out and it's like Christmas morning and they're like, "Ooh, look at this." And, "Oh, I remember this," and blah blah blah. And so that way you keep all those little crappy things like all together,
Oh
and
yeah.
there's the physical limitation for them. So
Yeah.
those are my best
The
tips
lemon
for
is good.
the,
I think
yeah, artwork
the
stuff.
shoe box, because I use that too, even
Yes.
for, I mean, not like my daughter puts everything in it now, but I use that for, like, I don't know, I have little trinkety things that, again, were
Yes.
like sentimental items from when I was a kid or whatever that I'm giving to my daughter. Well, it's in a box. If it doesn't fit in the box, then it's not going to stay there. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I think the physical limit is good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great. I
And
love art purgatory. That's
I know.
hilarious and awesome. Great way to do it. Yes.
Well, I actually do need to go through. I was just thinking they went to like this spring break camp in April, and it was like they did crafts there every day, you know.
Okay.
And this summer they're going to morning like camp or vacation Bible school pretty much
Yeah.
like the whole summer. I am going to have a lot of arts and crafts coming home. So the good news is they rarely ask about it, and if they do, it's like I can find it and then they can hang it up if they want to.
Right.
So that's been working really well for us so far. But yes, I anticipate there's going to be a lot in art purgatory this summer because they're going to
Love
be
it.
doing random arts and crafts every single day for
Love
like
it.
9 weeks, you know, straight. But
Oh yeah.
okay, well, I think that we went through pretty much everything. Um, and I think that, yeah, just kind of like knowing what season of motherhood you're in, what's appropriate for your kids, like trying to teach them some of these things at a young age and talking about gratitude and generosity and taking care of what they already own and why that's important. You can kind of
Right.
like be instilling some of those values in them by having some of these routines and that they just don't know any different, you know?
Right.
So,
Starting
yeah.
young. Yeah.
Anything
Yeah.
you wanted to add?
Um, I think the biggest thing I that has really affected us lately is just don't be afraid to change, like
Yeah.
to make changes and grow, like you said, seasonally with your kids and your family. Like my daughter, we just switched her to a toddler bed, so it's the whole
Hmm.
big change, transitions, all that type of stuff. So then now I'm trying to kind of figure that in with minimalism in a way. Well,
Yes.
now she's got a bigger space and whatever. So even with my son and walking and all of that. So it's like you have to play around, like I said to you even before, the toy rotation thing, it just wasn't working great when I
Yeah.
first really started to try and do it as it like you see advertised, I'll say, where
Right.
people are like, oh, I have these beautiful shelves and look at these wooden toys and whatever. I'm like, well, half my kids' toys talk
Yeah.
thanks to the from all
I
of
know.
my family.
I know.
So, in addition to that, I'm like, let's figure out a better way to do this. So, like, again, don't be afraid to figure out a better way. Because, I mean, I don't know, there's been times where I've just felt totally stuck where it's like, oh my gosh, there's stuff everywhere. We gotta,
Yeah.
so take a step back and, like I said, don't be afraid to make changes.
Yes, totally. It's really funny we say about the toys that talk. I'm pretty sure that parents do not buy those for their own kids because they don't want to listen to it. Or at least the stay-at-home moms do
I
not
know.
buy them for their own kids. But randomly, my husband, he will just start singing like a random part of a toy that we had when they were like two. And
Oh my
I'm
God.
like, because and he'll do it right before we like go to bed too. So it's like in your head the whole night. But it's
Okay.
amazing. All of the toys that talk and sing and stuff, you'll remember those songs like for the rest of your life.
Oh, yeah. We said the same thing. I'm like, I got a walker. You probably, I don't know if it's in here. It's not, but it's Welcome to My Learning Farm. I don't know.
Oh, yeah,
Like
yeah.
everybody has this toy, I think. I got it for $5 on Facebook Marketplace. That thing has been my son's like favorite thing.
Yes.
And he obviously it's a walker helping him walk, but then he loves all the buttons.
Oh,
You know,
yes.
same thing. I'm like, oh, gosh, this thing again.
I
No.
know. I know. Oh, it's so annoying. But
But
well, I love talking to you and I really
I greatly
appreciate.
enjoyed it. Thank you.
Yeah, and so I had a couple of these conversations lately that they're like Instagram like lost it and I was like, no. So I will hopefully pray to the Instagram gods that they won't lose our conversation. But I'll go ahead and tag you in it. And for everyone that watched live or if you're watching the replay, thank you. And feel free to share any of your tips with us if there was anything that we missed. But yeah. Thank you so much. And I know I'll talk to
Thank
you again
you.
soon. We'll have another great chat. And I hope you have a good
Sounds
evening.
good. I
Okay.
look forward to it. You too.
Okay. Bye, Michelle. Thank you. See
Bye.
ya.
Thank